Alright, I have a 2000 Honda Foreman S. I'm getting ready to change the oil on it. First thing you're going to do is, so right now it's cold. Got some snow on the ground. I let it run for about 10 minutes just to get all the oil warmed up so it'd come out. Warmer weather, you might be able to do it for just a few minutes just to get everything kind of warmed up, run through the engine. I'm going to drain the oil and replace the oil filter. The first thing to do is find your drain plug. It's going to come under. I'm on the left hand side of the bike. There is a nut right there that you're going to undo. What I do is I loosen it up quite a bit until it's pretty close to being done, and then I will undo the rest of it with my hand. Alright, so climb under here. You want to go and you'll feel it get on there. When you do it up, again, make sure it's not too tight or you have a tough time getting it off later. So I'm undoing it by hand right here, as you can see. You can wear gloves. I just don't have any at the time. So there you go. It's draining out. It's pretty black. I'm doing this for a co-worker. You can see it on my hand. He said he's never changed it. He's had it for about 10 years, so it'll be pretty crummy. I'm going to put my bolt right here where I can find it in a second. The next thing you have is your oil filter, which is on the right hand side of the bike. Right here, you're going to want to undo these 3 screws, and then your oil will just fall out right here. I'm going to grab my wrench and a socket. Alright, so the oil socket underneath was a 17 mil. This one is an 8 mil. Till I get these off. Like I said, he's never done it before, so they're on there pretty good. Okay, so I went ahead and undid all 3 of them, or loosened them up. So I'm gonna undo them here. I'm gonna do this real fast, and I'll turn it back on so you can see when I pull it off what it looks like. Okay, so I'm undoing the last screw here. When you pull this off, make sure that you're paying attention to your gasket, if you need a new one or not, what's going on, how your filter came out. So I just pulled this off. Quite a bit of oil draining out. This filter is absolutely filthy and trashed. That's how it looks. So this part right here was on the outside. This indent was on the inside of there. So it sat like this on there. Like I said, this thing's trashed. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw that one away. Drain that oil back into there. I'm going to go grab a rag real fast and get all that gunk cleaned out of there. So I just pulled the old gasket off here. It wasn't in bad shape. It's got a couple little nicks and stuff on it, if you can see. It wasn't in bad shape. I figured since it's been quite a few years since it was replaced, put the new one on. I used a screwdriver and I peeled up underneath there, flathead, and it kind of just popped right off. So this is the new one. It just lays right into the groove or the track, and that's all there is to putting your gasket on. It's pretty simple. I've cleaned out most of it. I'm going to go through with a rag one more time and just clean it all out now that it's had time to kind of settle down, as well as on the actual bike. So I had my cloth sitting in there. I've cleaned out most of the oil. This thing is just filthy dirty. I can't even believe he was still running it. He said I was going to clean out this little bit more. So we have our oil filter. Make sure there's nothing in there. I just dropped it, so I'll do one more quick little rub down of it. I guess doing one-handed on the edge of the bike isn't the place to put it. So So like I said before here, so here's my new filter. This out part goes on the side, and the inside goes on the inside. Let me clean this one more time. There's still stuff coming. I've been waiting for a few minutes, but there's still stuff flowing out. I want to get as much of that bad stuff out as possible. That way your filter doesn't have to go through the filter already again and get it clogged up or ruin it. When you put this on, you just make sure that it goes right back on how you had it. This is my first time doing this, so I believe there's only one way that it will go back on. There will be a little bit of resistance from the spring on the inside. Make sure you don't lose that as well. And then put your screws back on. I'm going to do that real fast. I'm going to need 2 hands. Okay, so I put them in one at a time. Make sure you don't over tighten them as you're putting them on, because it might go on a little bit crooked. What I'm going to do is do it hand tight. I'm just kind of filming for you to see what's going on. You have to put a little pressure on this. You can see it's still moving. Do that and then tighten her down with your wrench, your ratchet. So I got them pretty hand tight. Now I'm going back through with my ratchet and just ratcheting them up. You're going to want to go until they're a little bit snug, not overly tight. So you're going to have a tough time getting them undone. So I kind of hit a hard spot. Give a little bit more after that. Like I said, don't overdo it or you'll regret it later when you go to re-change it again. Snug it down, and last but not least is this one. And the top one, snug it down so not over tight. Now that I've done this oil filter, I'm going to go to the other side of the bike and put the drain plug back in. Okay, I'm back over to the side. You can see there's no more oil coming out. I'm going to move that. Let me get my drain plug that I left right here. You're going to reach up under here. You're going to find where's that. I like to do it with my hand the first time. That way you can kind of feel if you're cross-threading it or not. There we go. Now it's going up just fine. Sorry, it's a little bit dark. Getting late out here. I'm going to grab my wrench. Put it on. And then just give it a little snug. Don't over tighten it. Then you have right here is where your dipstick is at, or your fill hole. You take and make sure there's no oil left in there. And then it's going to take 2.2 quarts, well 2.1, 2.2, so I've got 2 quarts of ATV oil. I picked out 10W40, and then you can just fill it up. When I get towards the end of 2 quarts, I'm going to take and recheck it just to make sure that it's not overflowing. And that's how you change.